Okay. Yep.
All right.
All right, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. The Commission on Community Relations and Development meeting for tonight. If we could have someone to volunteer for an invocation or share a moment of silence. Let's just have a moment of silence. How about that? All right, thank you all for being here, and I'll ask the staff liaison, Felicia, if you will call the roll.
Amy Bauer. She's on the live stream. Christian DeMond.
Present.
Tara Humphreys.
Present.
Elvira Johnson. Washia Lancaster.
Present.
Tracy Lewis.
Present.
Stephen McFarland. Ahmad Pittman. Sergio Sanchez. Mael Thompson.
Present.
And Councilmember Hiawatha Jones is excused.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to old business. Any old business that we may have. Let's start with approval of meeting minutes from our meeting on April 13th, 2021. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes for April 13, 2021.
I second.
All right, all in favor of approving those minutes, raise your right hand. Any opposed?
We need
All
to
right.
see if Amy voted.
Yes, let's see here. She says here. All right. I started a thread and asked her how she would vote on approving our meeting minutes from April.
Okay, we can come back to that before
Okay.
we officially declare that they are approved.
Okay.
Okay.
And we'll move along to new business. Item number A, the former member appreciation, we'll put that off until Ms. Hiawatha can be here with us. And we'll move right to item B, membership update. Felicia, if you'd like to share a little bit.
Yes, so we had a vacancy on the commission for, Ms. Hiawatha Jones's, membership seat. So that was filled. City Council, appointed Mr. Ahmad Pittman, who has been contacted by the clerks, and myself. So tonight would have been his official first meeting, but he's not here. And then also reached out to Mr. Gregory Robinson and learned from him that he has relocated. So that leaves us with one vacancy currently. And I will just move right on into the application. So I presented you with 6 applications for your review, and then we need a recommendation to take to City Council. So if we can just take a few minutes to go through those. Just please share your thoughts.
I have a question. They do not have to be from a specific district, correct?
Yes.
So let me ask you this: where's the first list that we was presented on the ones that we first have chosen when this was brought to our attention the first time?
You mean from December?
Yes.
I don't know. The clerk
Oh, she
provided
didn't.
me with these.
She didn't leave any notes. Was that correct?
From December, no. Just the clerk says there's a vacancy, here are the applications, and she sent me these 6.
Okay. Because I do see Marcus Lewis. I think he was one of those that we chosen off that list the first time.
looking at Marcus as well. Marcus looks like a good candidate.
I can just speak for Marcus, and Marcus has messaged me quite a few times, even as recently, about wanting to be on this board. So, just for y'all to think about.
And unlike some of the others, this is his first choice.
Okay, so it looks like for Marcus Lewis, okay, is Amy chiming in at all on the live?
No, and I also wanted to let you know that Elvira is watching, and she wanted to be counted as present, and she voted to approve our meeting minutes from April.
Great. Okay. So I would like a quorum vote for Marcus Lewis, to include Ms. Elvira or Amy.
Need a motion?
Yes.
I would like to make a motion that we appoint Marcus Lewis,
Or recommend.
recommend Marcus Lewis for the board and commissions.
Second.
We're going to take a vote on recommending Marcus Lewis to join this board. All in favor, raise your right hand or comment yay or yes. And those opposed, raise your hand or comment nay or no. Did you see how we all voted?
Yes,
Okay.
I will just need that confirmation before we can make it
Yeah.
final.
As soon as I hear from them,
The
would you like
final
us to
vote.
just continue on until they chime in?
Yes.
Okay. That takes care of item B. Item C is application review and new member recommendation. We just did that, right? Yep, okay. So moving down to item number D, this is an item for discussion on subcommittees. And before we have this discussion, and Elvira and Amy, please feel free to chime in online. I want to frame our discussion with just a few thoughts. I want to thank each and every one of you genuinely for applying, taking the time to put an application in and go through the process to be a part of and serve our community as a part of this board, and sticking with it thus far, for really getting involved and getting your hands dirty in the last few years, and especially the past couple months as we've discussed issues that we want to tackle as a board and even the direction of the commission. I brag on this board to many people because of the diversity and the thought power that is behind everybody on this board, so I thank you for bringing your perspectives. And I'd like to read the following from our city ordinances to frame the next part of our discussion. This comes from the Boards and Commissions Purpose Statement 32.300, the City Ordinance amending Chapter 32, Boards, Commissions, and Departments of the City of Goldsboro's Code of Ordinances. The Council recognizes the importance of citizen participation in local government. The city utilizes volunteer boards as a mechanism to engage citizens in the democratic process. Primary role is to provide advice and guidance to City Council from a citizen's perspective. No doubt people talk to each and every one of us throughout the day on Facebook, text, phone calls, and they exchange ideas and critiques probably with you about the city and the things going on. We should welcome this and keep our finger on the pulse of the citizens that we're connected to. 32.306, recognizing we are generally citizen volunteers, City Council does deem it essential that the members of all city boards attend meetings regularly for the prompt and efficient transaction of city affairs. 32.320, we are to act as an advisory board to Director of Community Relations and Development, or interim, and City Council, enhance community harmony and promote awareness of our growing multiculturalism by facilitating community dialogues and meetings, resident and organizational coalitions so that we can address community issues and concerns. We are to serve as input mechanism for the community and advise on how CDBG, the Community Development Block Grant, and home funds may be allocated. So I just wanted to provide the refresher and just kind of frame that as we have this next discussion about our involvement. Felicia, would you just take a moment to explain to us the status and the need to carve out and make a community development subcommittee, so everybody understands the need for that?
Well, what I had in mind for the status, Christian, was just kind of discuss the status of the existing subcommittees, just kind of where we are and how we want to move forward with those. And then I like for not to consider, but there has to be, as Councilmember Hiawatha Jones, if you recall, she recommended or suggested at last month's meeting that we, that the commission forms a community development subcommittee. And I think that will be the best approach for taking care of that piece of what's in the bylaws for the commission. So then those interested could serve on that community development subcommittee, and then the subcommittee can, just as the other subcommittees, come back to the commission as a whole and share what was discussed in that community development subcommittee, and then that subcommittee representing the commission as a whole would make the recommendations, and we would carry it on like that. So I just want to know how that sounds. Councilwoman Hiawatha Jones did make the recommendation. I thought it was a great way, since it was the consensus of the commission to stay together, not split. Community development piece has to be addressed. So that would be a way to address it, is by forming that subcommittee. So I just want to hear your thoughts and to see if everyone's on board with moving forward with that.
Gotcha. I would like to speak on the, again, please forgive me. It's been a very difficult season with the new position, not knowing my schedule at this time for the housing committee, subcommittee. And I did reach out to Ms. Felicia to ask her what are some time frames, because every day I do get on a flight to go to wherever they sending me at right now. But we will try to determine something. I don't know if someone can step over and actually set the meeting, and then I can just join. I would still like to be a part of the housing subcommittee, but at this time I don't think I'd be able to chair that committee due to my job situation at this time with the new position. And so if someone is willing, or we can, replace it with the community development subcommittee, then I'm fine with that as well.
Okay, I appreciate that. You're too young to be overloaded. Not yet. Yeah, you get there.
Mael, who else was on your committee?
It was trying to say her name. And Matt Woodard wanted to be on that board, and James Jones. So if someone wants to take over that, I'll be glad to still be a part of it and share the information that I have from my standpoint. If someone wanted to take that on as chair.
I would like to make a recommendation that we appoint Rashia, if she's interested, as chair, because she has experience with housing.
Okay.
And I'm willing to help all I can, I can't
Awesome.
chair.
That's fine. I have no problem with that. But I know some of the other members that aren't here, I'm pretty new to the board, so I don't want to feel like, if others that have been here longer are interested, that's fine. But if no one is, then I can do it.
I think we could stick with that. If you're willing to do it, I think we can
Well,
stick with
you're
that.
here, so that says
Yeah.
a lot. You're always here. That says even more. So I appreciate you and you've got our support. And thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Mael. Thank you, Tara, for agreeing. So I think this is beautiful.
Yes, so that's great. Good. And Miss Elvira's watching, but she is chairing a subcommittee herself on community relations. Any thoughts or ideas on that subcommittee?
We'll have to hear from Miss Elvira.
Yeah, and please, Miss Elvira, feel free to put your comments in there, whatever she'd like to say. Amy Bauer also wanted to let you know, she sent me private messages, but I'm telling her she needs to go ahead and place her vote in the comments so that it can go on record.
Okay.
Now, there was also the consideration of whether we needed a separate subcommittee to deal with community development. Because I was thinking of the conditions under which we created the housing, but that was, I think, to deal with another set of issues as opposed
Yes.
to the business of the commission.
Mhm.
So we would, not that those two couldn't intersect, but
Mhm.
thinking that should be a separate clean.
Yeah, it had to be correct.
Yeah. Miss Elvira just commented and said she'd like to know who all is on her subcommittee for community relations, and the only person that I was aware of, I was hoping you would stay on there if you were able to.
We'll see.
Tara said, we'll see Miss
There
Elvira.
were individuals in the community that I'd spoken with, but she will need to talk to them separately.
Yeah, and Miss Elvira has free will to kind of formulate it,
Sure.
reach out to whoever she'd like. This is kind of her car to drive, so
Okay.
you know we'll let her do that. And if she needs our support, we'll be here to provide her with that support.
Okay.
And I believe Miss, I'm so sorry, gentleman's, name is on our board.
Stephen,
Mr. McFarland?
yeah,
Farland.
yeah.
He had said that he wanted to be on it.
Oh, yes.
He did
Mhm.
say he wanted to.
He did, and he was the genesis of it.
Yeah.
So I believe he definitely should be a driving force.
So why don't we just keep that discussion open a little bit more on that subcommittee? I mean, I think there's something there. I think there's an importance. I'm open to anybody's thoughts, though. I think we should go ahead with Ms. Hiawatha's recommendation on starting the subcommittee on community development and having that as a separate piece from the relations. What do y'all think of that?
I do as well. Yeah.
Is there
A chair for it.
a chair? Any commission members?
I
that-
will be on it. I don't mind being on the subcommittee, but at this time, I as the chair, no.
How often do you think that one would need to meet? Probably not as regularly as the
Yeah.
housing.
I would say monthly, still monthly.
Okay.
Yeah. And there would be always something to talk about for community development.
And again, because so many of our members aren't here, kind of, and I'm sure there's probably people who will want to, but aren't here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we can, are you, Felicia, able to put like an email to see if someone be interested?
Yeah, I'll send an email out. I'll do that, and we'll take it from
So
there.
let me ask you this, Felicia. So most of our active members are actually here. Is that correct? Other than Elvira?
Well,
and-
yeah, I was just looking at the roll call, and it's kind of shrinking. Yes.
So let me ask you this. I know there's a name. I think they used to own the coffee shop across the street from us. You keep repeating his name, but we haven't had him show up or join any
And I
live.
should not have today, but he has been contacted via certified letter.
Okay.
So I do follow the city's rules and ordinances regarding attendance.
Okay.
So after 3 missed meetings, I do make contact, and it has to be via a certified letter. And then the member has 30 days to respond. So Mr. Sergio has about 2 more weeks.
Okay.
And then that will leave another vacancy.
And you've had no word from him
No.
in a long time. Do
I've
we know if he's
reached
still
out.
in the community?
I don't know. I believe so, but I even reached out and called him and texted him this week, but haven't heard back.
It's a shame because I liked
Yeah, me
having
too.
him on.
Yeah, me too.
So to answer your question, Mael, then there are 8 active members.
At what point will the meetings be in person totally? You know, we're watching on Facebook is not going to be an option.
So the last thing discussed among our leaders is when the whole executive state of emergency is lifted. regarding the pandemic. But for now, we have just kind of cut out the virtual Zoom WebEx option. We are kind of technically back in person, so we're just kind of recommending or suggesting for those who still choose not to come in person to just watch the live feed.
Because it doesn't really allow them to participate in discussions
Yeah.
fully.
Right.
So-
Right, they can comment, and you
Yeah.
know, I've agreed to still count, you know, a member as present if they're on the live feed.
Yeah,
and I
Miss
know
Elvira's commenting some, but like you said, it's tough. It's hard to have a discussion.
It is.
Fingers don't work as well as we
No, you don't hear the tone, and you know,
Yeah.
so.
So did we hear back from Miss Elvira or Amy about Marcus Lewis?
I mean, Amy private messaged me that she voted yes on both, but it's not in the comments, so I don't believe we can count that.
Okay, well, I'll just have to check back.
Yeah.
And, if you've asked her to put it in the comments, then we'll
Yeah.
check back, and then we can make that official later.
Okay. So, Miss Elvira I wanted to let you know, she said that, she wanted to confirm Mr. McFarland was interested on being on the committee, on her subcommittee. I said yes. She said she's reached out to a couple of potential committee members for community relations, and she should have a good group together by the next meeting, so.
Okay, that sounds good.
I think that's good. Instead of just completely doing away with that subcommittee for now, we probably should just let her continue to work on it and have some further discussion on getting this subcommittee on community development off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then Washia, whatever, you know, you would need, we'll be in contact
Yes.
about starting scheduled meetings.
Anybody else have any further discussion for item D on subcommittees? Comments?
So how many members are you all looking to, for each, for like the development subcommittee?
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking for how many members? I mean, like, it's such few, a few of us that really kind of, and I know you don't want members being on every committee.
Right,
You want to kind of,
yeah.
so how many? What did you have in mind as far as a couple?
Yeah, well, just a conversation that I've had recently with the city manager. We've discussed 5 being kind of a suitable number.
Are you talking about that including community members?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes the more people you pile on, it's just less effective.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we want to keep it small so that we can be effective in what we do.
Any further discussion?
I don't have any.
So before we adjourn, I just want to be sure, if we adjourn this meeting without having Amy Bowers' votes, will they still be counted if she goes and comments later?
Yes, if she goes
Okay.
back into the live stream, the feed, and comment, yes,
Okay.
it will be
Yeah,
counted.
while we're still.
Because she's counted as present.
Okay.
And Miss Elvira.
Okay.
I do have a question before we adjourn the meeting. Felicia, to you, Felicia, too. Is there any, as the Community Relations Board, if there was a community activity going on, as far as, just say, Praise in the Park, and it's a free event, but they're asking for, the partners are asking for funds that the community relations can be a partner, or different organizations being a partner. Is that something that the community relations can do, or that's something that the city has to approve? I know that the city councils probably make that final decision. Is that correct, or there's something that the board can approve?
It just depends. Like if someone's coming to the city asking for money to help, then yeah, that group or organization should come before city council, make a presentation, and let them decide.
Okay.
So before we adjourn, I just wanted to see if anybody had any further comments, or maybe just a report on some community news or feedback of what's going on. Maybe you do know of an event going on that you just want to share or anything like that.
If I may, I attended the meeting of the other community, I don't even know what that was formally called, but
The
the group
state meeting,
the
state human
meeting of
relations,
other
okay, oh,
community
good.
relations,
Okay.
commissions, and there were, a lot of good ideas from the Salisbury Rowan County organization, and this is the first one I had attended of that, but it appears that if you host it, you get to talk about yourself.
Mhm.
So I got, like I said, lots of just great ideas about things they were doing, and some of the committees that they have an education and workshop committee. They have a Hispanic coalition. They have a community and again, I think, well, I did not fully write out the words, and now I don't know if it's community or communications and celebrations committee that included things like a drive-through resource fair, a day of service, virtual celebration. They even have humanitarian awards named after one of their former mayors, and that includes, in normal times, a speaker, a dinner, and winners. And I thought, wow, if we could evolve to that. They have an annual Mayor's Spirit Forum. The mayor chooses the topic, and sometimes it's a luncheon, sometimes it's just a forum of a panel of sorts, and they play a supporting role in that. So it could be a topic like housing or race relations. That would be fantastic as well. They have, they play a part in their police chief's citizen advisory board. They, there were just lots and lots of interesting things that they are doing that we could learn from. They actually have members that are from the city and from the county on there. So it's, and we've talked about trying to work with the county. So I don't know how that could be done. They have sponsors, and of course, being in Salisbury, Food Lion is big, but Food Lion is one of their sponsors. Rowan County actually put some money into it. The Lutheran Services of the Carolinas put some money into the things that they do on an annual basis so that they can put on wonderful events. And they did provide a slide that listed all of their committees, and I'm sorry I did not print it out and bring it, but it was wow. One thing the state commission said was, if we will send them information about our events, they will post them on the website. So we need to keep that in mind. And their next, the state Human Relations Commission meeting will be Thursday the 27th at 11 a.m. and that is virtual. Anybody can watch. So, just lots of cool stuff. So if one of these comes up again, and they said they're always looking for sponsors, but I don't know if we're ready to talk about ourselves yet.
Right.
But I encourage y'all to tune in. It is something that you could do while you continue working on something else. So I know it comes during work time, but it was definitely valuable and encouraging.
What time was it on the 27th?
Which was
What time on the 27th?
on the 27th, 11 a.m.
11.
Well, I think that goes back to the city ordinance, you know, that we would be okay to do events that promoted that stuff, the community dialogue meetings and the coalitions. Miss Elvira did say that those were great events. She'd like you to send her your notes. And I think that this could be stuff that our subcommittees really work on building and focusing on.
Okay.
So thanks for sharing. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Tara. There is lots that can be done. I'm just here to support whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah, I just think that because, you know, and you know, you're working on the membership part, you know, you know, actually trying. If we had the full participation, I mean, we could do so much, you know. So hopefully we'll get that eventually.
And good representation from
Exactly.
across the community. So
Yes.
And I think it sends a message to, you know, our residents that, hey, you know, you know, they really have their board, you know, they're on it, you know, they're really about what they say, but not just up here wasting an hour of everyone's time, you know,
Right.
not, you know what I mean? I think it really sends a strong message.
And I think they would start
Yeah.
coming to us
Yes.
with ideas
Right.
and wanting to help.
That's good.
I'm re-looking back at the general rules, and the attendance is 70% of all scheduled meetings is, what is the participation expectation is, so, I think you're right on the money there, and, I thank you, Felicia, for keeping the notes and keeping track of attendance and, you know, submitting those notices, so that we can get good participation.
And then if they're not able, we can get people who do want to show up
Yes,
yeah.
and participate, you know?
That's what makes all the difference.
I would like to talk about the possibility of us doing some kind of citizen survey, if we could put it out online. I don't know what that looks like, of just so that we can get a better read on what the community thinks as far as the relationship with the city. And I don't know how we would go about doing that, if we would do that through one of our subcommittees or if we have to vote on doing that.
That may be good for the community relations subcommittee.
Okay.
I agree. I think right now there are so many surveys, but if we
Yeah.
work on it now, by the time we got it ready, maybe all
Mhm.
the others, is like 3 floating around out there right
Yeah.
now.
Right, yeah. So that then we would know from that survey, kind of what topics, what areas, what are some of the pressing community,
Yeah.
relations or human relations issues. Yeah.
I think that we do a good job, all of us on our own, keeping our pulse on the activity and the thoughts and the feelings, but I think that would be helpful, so we could look at that. I just have 2 things. Governor Cooper proclaimed May as Mental Health Month. 1 in 5 adults experience a mental health illness in any given year. 1 in 25 adults experience serious mental illness. I just want to encourage you, if you know somebody who is struggling, sometimes there's a stigma connected to this. We should break that down, and we should be open to having conversations and helping our friends and loved ones get help they need so that their mental health can be as best as it can possibly be. And the last thing is, May is Brain Cancer Awareness Month. With the slogan "Go Gray in May," an estimated 700,000 Americans are living with a primary brain tumor, with one of them being our great mayor, Chuck Allen. Despite the number of brain tumors and their devastating prognosis, there are only five FDA-approved drugs and 1 device to treat brain tumors. I just wanted to say that we are personally displaying a gray ribbon at our home on our mailbox, and we're pulling for Mayor Allen. He's a strong man, and we're supporting him, and I just wanted to say that for this month. So
Where can you get the gray ribbons?
his sister, and I can send you her contact, she delivered it to our house. It was just a gray ribbon. So if you have social media, please consider posting a picture to support Going Gray in May for brain cancer awareness. And we're really pulling for him. So